All right, Georgia O'Keeffe was born in 1887 and lived until 1986. And she actually has a pretty interesting life. She grew up on a farm in Wisconsin and has become one of today's most famous painters. Her mother taught art and thought it was so important that growing up, O'Keeffe had many art lessons and was encouraged to go to art college. She decided she wanted to be an artist at the age of 10. O'Keeffe loved nature, so most of her paintings were of flowers, mountains, seashells, and even animal bones. O'Keeffe often simplified her paintings, creating more emphasis on the beauty of nature. In high school, her art teacher told her to take time to look at the flowers they were about to draw and pay attention to the details. Her flowers became famous because she painted them close up, like a bug's eye view. She wanted to make sure people saw the details of the flowers and looked at them the way that she did. So here's another one, the red canna. She painted this in 1924, and it's just another close-up. Eventually, O'Keeffe moved to New York to start showing her artwork. After being in New York for a while, she took a teaching job in Texas and loved the clear skies and the bright sun there. After teaching for a few years, a man named Alfred Stieglitz, a famous photographer, offered Georgia to come back to New York and he would pay for her expenses, and all she had to do was paint. It was hard for her to leave Texas, but she couldn't pass up that opportunity. And that was the beginning of her fame. Later in life, she lived in New Mexico and would paint the scenery there. She loved camping and being outdoors. She used her Model A Ford, this car in the picture, as her studio. She would move the driver's seat and she would unbolt the passenger seat and turn it around so that it was facing the back seat. You can see her facing the back seat in the bottom picture. And she would lay the canvas on the back seat as an easel and paint inside her car. And painting inside her car allowed her to stay out of the desert sun and was a barrier for the bees that would gather there during the day. She could only stay in there for so long, though, before it got too hot. And then she would have to leave for the day. She received many awards, including the United States Medal of Freedom, the highest honor for a person not serving in the military. And she created art into her 90s. She said, "I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing I wanted to do." And the art lesson that goes along with this are close-up pictures of Rhode flowers. You'll see how the leaves go off the page, and that's how we're going to be drawing our Rhode flowers, is so big that they cover the whole entire frame of the page. It's another close-up of a bud before it blossoms. And then here's some more, just to give you some ideas. All right, so this is our art project for Georgia O'Keeffe. We are going to be doing Rhode flowers. You can do any flower you want, but we always do this one during the Rhode Day Festival in Florence, Oregon. And so we do our Rhode flowers. And with this one, I have the kids draw a really big Rhode flower or a Rhode bud or whatever, and do it like a bug's eye view, like it's coming off of the paper. I want them to take up the whole paper. And we use oil pastels because it's fun to blend those colors in together. You can see around the edge that she blended the colors, but you can use crayons, markers, whatever with this, whatever you have at home. So just grab some paper, we've got cardstock and oil pastels, and start drawing. All right, so I usually bring in Rhode flowers to start with inspiration, but it's raining wet outside and I don't want to go out there and get them. And I showed you guys some Rhode flowers on the last video. So there's a paper. I've got my girls here. We're all drawing together. And I just usually draw like a big petal all the way to the edge of the paper. And remember, flowers are imperfect. So
Mine looks so weird.